Hi, Councilor Kwasinski. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, I was happy to join. I had been sort of monitoring the agendas for the past couple of weeks because I figured my name would pop up, but the election just sort of took over my week this week, as I'm sure it had for many others.
So, JP, do you want to run the meeting or?
That's fine if you'd like.
Yes, that way I can take notes.
You can take notes
Yeah.
pretty easily. This is oh, so are you recording?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
All right, good. So just to be sure that we have recordation, um, this is the appointment subcommittee meeting of November 4th, 2020. We have before us opportunity for public speak, but there being no members of the public, I think we can forego that unless you see someone that I don't see, Omar.
No,
No,
no.
okay, good. Uh, we have before us an application for the Easthampton Cultural Council. The gentleman is Christopher St. Martin, and I am so pleased that he's able to join us today. And we're going to learn about his experience. But briefly, he had applied because he knew a member of the Easthampton Cultural Council and had attended a few meetings and kind of liked what he saw, in addition to liking Easthampton, both in the way back past and came back to Easthampton. So I'm hoping that he can tell us a little bit more about that and about some of the ways that he feels he can be helping the city. Omar, do you have any questions?
No, I want to hear. I want to hear him.
I'd love to open
Sure.
up to Chris. Chris, what can you tell us? Thank you so much.
Sure. So thank you for that introduction. So yes, my name is Chris St. Martin. I grew up in this town of Easthampton. I was born in the '80s, and spent my childhood here. Moved away for college, and then again for law school, and sort of have seen this town sort of grow and mature over the years, mostly in my adult years from a distance. About a year ago, a little over a year ago now, I moved back with my wife. We bought a house right near downtown, and having sort of been away and seen sort of the sort of changes that Easthampton underwent, from the downtown or the pond downtown, the boardwalk being built, and the cultural district becoming such a robust part of the community. It was great to sort of be back in the community and be a part of what I had been sort of seeing on an occasional holiday visit to my families. So I was looking immediately for ways to get involved. I sort of took some time to build a home, and a friend of mine who's on the cultural council recommended it to me. I attended a few meetings, and it just seemed like a great way for me to contribute, for me to be involved in the community. I view sort of the funding for the arts and culture as just a great way to build community, sort of give the community a sense of identity, which, is hard in times like this, especially, where nobody's really allowed to gather or, be in large groups at all. So I think, to the extent that we can sort of foster a sense of identity as a community, I just, that's something that really sort of drove me to want to be a part of this committee.
That's great. Um, I just had one quick thought as you were speaking. Since you're being back for a year, most of that has been during the COVID crisis. So,
Yeah.
or at least much of it. So, are there certain things that, I mean, as anything, and maybe nothing has come to mind yet, that might be able to help foster Easthampton's future with regard to cultural activities where we don't all
Oh,
gather together? What kinds of things do you see maybe happening?
Well, it's hard in a time with, like, as I said, in a pandemic. But I'm a big fan of public art. I think we still do this in town, but a few years ago it was big to have the bears at the different storefronts. The idea of murals downtown, I love. So things like that sort of remind people that there's a lively community, even though we might have to quarantine for a few months. Outside of COVID, I love the idea of sort of nature walks or public sort of some sort of like a nature. I know that there was one event that I think had to be canceled because of COVID that had to do with foraging for wild plants. But I love the idea of being part of the natural community. I live right near Mutter Field, and walk there often. So those are, I guess, a couple of ideas I have. I look forward to kind of exploring how people navigate Zoom based meetings, whether people are requesting funding for, some sort of Zoom based art events or something like that. I don't have any specific ideas about that, but I am sort of excited to see what other people think of.
That's kind of what I was leaning towards, is some Zoom-based art, Zoom-based music, some way of kind of gathering the community. Maybe that's something that.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely a subject of discussion at the meeting I attended. Was I think that was right when the pandemic started. That was something that people were experimenting with, and then once summer happened and people could gather in limited amounts outside, people, I think, preferred that, just because it's nice to be around people. But now that numbers are spiking again and temperatures are dropping, I think that's definitely going to be on the horizon. And I mean, apart from the cultural committee, I've attended a few Facebook style events that are sort of I'm in this one group called Professors and Pints, which is like a weekly lecture they do on various different sort of historical subjects with like a professor. It has nothing to do with Easthampton, but I thought that might be an interesting thing to sort of promote, some sort of online lecture by the historical commission or something like that.
I think you're going to love it here even more and more as you get more and more involved. Omar, any questions or thoughts?
No, I did not. Thank you for applying for the committee. I think it's important for the community to be involved, and thank you.
I think
Thank
this
you
is a great
for
way for
thank
you
you
to
both.
meet the community and for the community to get a chance to meet you. So thank you for so much for that. I'd be happy to entertain a motion.
So move.
Second for the appointment, recommending the appointment to the Easthampton Cultural Council for Christopher St. Martin. Roll call vote, please.
Yeah. Omar Gomez, I say aye.
Aye. JP Kwasinski, I say aye. So what the process will be now is to have this committee make recommendations later this evening to the full council. They will vote on the matter, and then hopefully you'll be receiving an official appointment shortly.
All right.
Yep.
So thank
you.
So much.
Yes, thank you for your time.
Excellent. Omar, any other further business?
No, we do not, and we don't have any new appointments. So
motion to adjourn then.
Second.
All in favor?
I say aye.
Kwasinski, aye. Omar, aye.
Gomez say aye.
Excellent. This concludes the appointment subcommittee meeting for November 4th.
Yep. Thank you.
Evening.
All right.
Bye.
Have a great night.
Good night.
Same to you. Bye.